Hey, alright, so today I'm going to cover my two losses, or at least two matches here that are both losses because I was, excuse, throw it in there, fake cough, tired. I actually was tired, but also excuse. Pre-prepared. Yeah, so this first one ended up in a loss because Bulwark. I forgot about what that does. Well, not even that. I just forgot that everyone doesn't have the Goosebrand 4 on Ather, which seems standard. I almost think that that's what she comes with at this point, but nope, she comes with Bulwark. Attack defense at that. And it did me in on this one, and that's essentially what happened here. The lineup here is essentially to figure out how to get around the ice terrain that Robin is doing. Hindsight, probably should have went up through the middle and went up through the mountain terrain. That probably would have been the better option, but you know, excuses. And yeah, figure it out, you know, after that. Really, what I was planning to do here was to use Felix to break the ice on that tile that's going to be below Celica, but also like unnecessary in the sense that I didn't even have to do that. I could have just double saved this, and well, actually no, I scrapped my double save team. I decided that I kind of needed to re-bless Nagi, so one of the Nagis is not properly blessed, and I don't think I'm going to end up using that team for the rest of this week, so that was a waste. Waste of a blessing, at least. So yeah, that team doesn't exist anymore, the double save one. Probably could have went with not Fiora. What am I thinking? I probably could have went with what's her name? Celica. No. Sita. Probably could have went with Sita, but Celica would have been a problem to deal with. So that also did not happen. Although I guess I could have blocked that spot right above the mountain terrain. That probably would have worked out in my favor, because that creates a choke point that no one can go through. 1, 2, and then Felix would initiate. Yeah, that probably would have worked. Hindsight. But yeah, this did not work. So what you're seeing right now is me just trying to set up the team to initiate from the angle of Celica. If not Celica, then the plan is to initiate on Sigurd, I want to say. Actually, no. What ends up happening is I do end up going through the middle. It just didn't go the way that I did it the last time that I went up the middle. So yeah, just bad play all around on my part. Also wasted Pinette in this one. She ended up not doing anything, which you never want to do with your initiator. You really want your initiator to initiate, and I didn't do that because that's automatically a loss of 2 actions on a unit that doesn't have Wings of Mercy. So it doesn't really work out in your favor. You really want your initiator to initiate. But I guess from here on you can just sit back and watch me fail, because that's what's going to happen. I was planning on trapping Felix with God, what's her name?
By your will.
Saders. Yeah, the one that can shut you down. I was planning on doing that, but that was also one of the reasons that I ended up losing. Yeah, Felix would have been the only thing that would have been a real threat. I could have taken out Hathrin as well, but again. But yeah, you can just watch what happens from here. There's another video after this one. I'm gonna have to chop that one up into several tiny pieces because what's the word I'm looking for here? It is long, and there was no way that I was going to be able to fit all of that into a 30-minute video. Or actually, I was hoping to keep this one under 20 minutes, but we'll see where it ends up. Yeah. Second topic. Neathhugger. So, I think I posted something. Well, I did indeed post something that I was saying, like none of my nukes work anymore because I feel like she is a lot stronger than we all planned for. Because in the story, she was a lot easier to take out. Interestingly enough, a lot of it also comes from her B skill. So a lot of people have been saying that they should probably give her shield fighter to make her better, but in my opinion, she doesn't need it because the B skill that she currently has is sufficient enough. I guess Shield Fighter is a way to increase her longevity, but if you don't have Shield Fighter on hand, the B skill that she comes with is sufficient in terms of just helping her survive most combats. There's of all the units that I tried, none of them were able to take her out in 2 hits.
They will submit.
Well, exception. There's one exception there's one exception to that, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But the majority of units that I tried pretty much failed to take her out at range, especially the green units. It was kind of interesting because green units made a big comeback this year. I want to say a lot of the ranged green threats were actually able to put in work, and now we're kind of back at square one in that regards. Micaiah was really the main option that you had that was able to do something, attune Micaiah, but she doesn't, because of the weapon strangle disadvantage, she doesn't do very well into this Neathhugger. You could probably set up a build so that you could, I don't know, Astra something. Maybe that works. I haven't attempted.
I seek a foe.
A lot of damage. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, there's things that you could probably still attempt to try to take her out in one combat, but so far, I'm just like, I'm kind of bummed, man.
What now?
Because on the one hand, I understand, or it makes sense for her to be as strong as she is because she's an offensive mythic. And the thing about having a save unit as an offensive mythic is that they are very easy, or they would be very easy to power creep. Thinking about like Byleth from last year, dual Byleth, just a regular save unit that actually gets mythic blessings, and that Byleth was done, let's say, as soon as Celica popped off, and that was like what, somewhere around March, or was Ike first? No, Ike was first, so somewhere around there. Byleth didn't last like 6 months. You don't want to have that same situation with the mythic unit that isn't getting the mythic buffs. The most that she's gonna get is bonus stats from her bonus season, which will put her up to like 60, maybe 65 if you have her at plus 10. With summoner support, probably 70. That's not ideal for a save unit because the stats do matter. The stats do matter for armored units, and there's just really no way that you're going to rectify that. Being a mythic unit, you're pretty much just locked into the stat line that you have. It can't be augmented to the extent that, let's say, the nukes can be augmented. They can get extra stats just by existing alongside the defense mythics. So she's already in a unfavorable position when you think about it in that regards. So I kind of understood. I try to understand it from that vantage point that they have to make her strong, otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Because why release a offensive save that only lasts 3 months? Why do that? Because it impacts your rotation schedule. It's one of the reasons that Duma doesn't get rerun that often in the defense lineup. You tend to get 4 Mortis every now and then. They just don't rerun that often because stats matter. And typically when they get rerun, it's typically around the time that there's some type of armor skill or a support unit that helps those that helps them sustain, that helps them survive in combat. Like Duma getting rerun around the same time that Shield Fighter came out. There's a reason for that. It's not just like a coincidence. They plan it around that specific schedule. So it's a lot more. It's really difficult to do that for an offensive save unit, especially because she's not colorless. The fact that she is red, it means that if there's a blue or red unit that comes out down the line, she's going to have a weapon triangle disadvantage, which is automatically another negative in her favor. You typically want to have your save units be colorless because that allows them to have neutral matchups across the board and also adds to their longevity. So she had a lot going against her going into it, which is why I was thinking that it made more sense to put her on defense, because it's okay if an armor unit ages out on defense. It's not the worst thing in the world. You have a lot of other options. But for offense, if you're being forced or told to run that unit, you want that unit to actually have the stats to live up against what they're going to face. And yeah, they definitely leaned into that, and they leaned into that hard. You're seeing me here run up into Bulwark and not be able to do what I had planned to do, which was take out Celica and then trap the other two units. So that's where this match ended. Hindsight, I probably could have used the dual button but it was already wasted, so whatever. So I'm gonna surrender at some point after this, because there's no point in continuing. This is already a loss. And then I'll pick up the conversation after that.
The future is in sight.
Here. How long do I take to give this up? I don't know. Maybe I should have kept talking about Neathogger. A lot of wasted actions. A lot of my actions were wasted in this match. That's one thing that I probably should say. But yeah, that's what happens when you're tired or you're just sleepy. Here we go. Alright, so let's continue from where I left off. Wait, actually, hold on.
Believe in me.
Okay, alright. Yeah, here we go again. So I just put the transition in so I didn't forget where the video was supposed to transition. There's going to be a bunch of cuts for this one. This match, frustrating, because I missed this by 4. And yeah, it's really just that close. Ideally, again, excuses, I was tired. Excuses. Ideally, I should have initiated on turn 1 or set up my team so that I could initiate on turn 1. I failed to do that, and that's pretty much what cost me this game. If I was able to take out Fjorm on turn 1, it would have been a lot easier to get this done. But I just I didn't plan properly. I think I had the actions to do it, but the plan that I had didn't account for some of the structures being broken, and also the trap. I didn't want to gamble it so early on. The reason why you want to do this on turn 1 is because Lumera gives a bunch of stats, and those stats end up mattering after turn 2, or after the first turn. Those stats actually do matter. Without Lumera being here to provide the terrain, I probably would have gotten this.
Ready to help.
Because I would have initiated from a different position that would have allowed me to make up the 4 stats that I was missing. I do find a way to get close, but again, it comes down to 4 stats. Originally, Celica was not on this team. I had another dancer here, so that would have actually given me the stats that I needed to get the KO because of the debuffs. But Celica, I decided that I needed someone to help me out with the Ike matchup, and that's why Celica is here, even though she doesn't necessarily do the best job of that. So, I don't know, man. This team will probably get scrapped, if not upgraded. I think... Well, actually, I've already upgraded one part of it that needed to be changed, and that's the B skill for Cordelia here. I actually have a snag skill that I forgot to equip, which would have actually given me enough to get the KO, because that's sabotage plus speed defense -7. So yeah,
Got this.
bad decisions all around. Also, I just realized that another good thing that I could have potentially added to this is reciprocal aid.
Your orders?
Because how this works, it's a miracle setup. I think Nino has
By your
7
side.
healing, so she could have looped the miracle, but
Sure, let's go.
in the event that I failed, or in the event that it was close, having reciprocal aid might have given me the
Without
edge
a doubt.
to live another hit or another combat, or just having some special acceleration. What I wanted to give her is, or what I'm planning to give her is Flashing Blade, and I'm thinking of dropping the tempo to give her that one skill that I just got from
Why
Rearm
not?
Soth, the B skill, the Potent Follow-Up, Potent Disarm Trap, that one.
This way. This way.
I'd rather have it on Nino than on Soth. I'm not too fond of Soth. But yeah, those are upgrades that I'm going to work on in the future, or for
Ready
the
to
future. But for this match, I wasted pretty much 6 turns trying to figure out how to get in here and take out Fjorm, because once you break Fjorm, one of the Fjorms, it's pretty much GG's from there. The other Fjorm has Iode Shield, or not Iode Shield, Solvine, whatever you want to call it. That one that removes the armor effectiveness. So Crom
I've got
isn't
this.
able to do anything into her because of that, plus deflect melee, which is a good combination. If you want to stop, triangle attack stuff, that's typically a good option, or a good way to get around that. Doesn't work very well for Potent though, but then Potent is still just overall less damage, so it really just doesn't matter.
This way.
But yeah. Watch me fail. You're gonna see it take place in a bit here. One of the things that I don't like about this team is that the setup takes so long,
This way. This way.
and then also Cordelia offers nothing aside from just being a mobility option, I want to say, and the status effect itself. I wish he had more potential. I want a ranged unit
Ever forward.
to have the status
I'll handle this.
triangle attack at start
The
of turn.
future is in
That's
sight.
really what I want.
Got this.
A range unit that can contribute in that way. That would work out a lot better at this stage in the game, but I don't
This
think
way?
they're quite
This
ready
way.
to give that to us. I think
Message
it's still going to be
received.
locked to some type of assist, if not a dual skill. But yeah, back to Neathhogger.
Your orders?
Yeah, so I think they scaled her or future-proofed her at least for the next year. I want to
I'll
say
handle this.
she should be good. I don't think she's going to run that much. We should have her for the entirety of
Ready to
December, and then
Your orders?
well, I don't know, probably like 2 more times at least. Yeah, I can see that happening.
What?
But she won't. I don't think she'll age out until closer to the end of 2025. I think she'll be good throughout that year. Next year, I think she should still be good, because especially like base kit alone, she's really good.
This
And
way.
then what you want to do is add like defense, because a lot of her stuff scales off her defense. And then if you can, or if you want to, you can upgrade to Shield Fighter, and that will add just more longevity to her. Yeah, so I don't think she'll be going anywhere anytime soon. And then top that all off, she herself is a very good save, and then when you partner a very good save with very
I'll
good
handle this.
support, it's exponential.
I've got
So
this.
if you were to partner her with, like, let's say a
This way.
Sedith,
This way.
or an Halloween Asker, which is what I've been doing, it makes her a lot tougher to take out. So you can definitely see how it's possible for her to just keep getting, kind of like what Ike
This way.
with Ike. That's why I like to draw that comparison for her, or with her and
Sounds
Ike,
like
because
fun.
I think,
Ever onward.
well, unless IS just decides to go crazy with the nukes,
Your
I
orders?
think she'll have similar longevity as Ike.
Sure.
Biggest
let's go.
weakness, null C disrupts, but that's not
Got
the
this.
worst thing in the world for her, because she's so hard to take out already. Like, and also like healers are still really lacking. I have a slight inkling, a feeling that the next emblem hero might be a healer, just because of that. I feel like they're holding out on us as it relates to giving us good nukes, and I feel like the emblem hero might actually fit that mold as well. It would also make sense from a miracle standpoint. I could see a healer having like a miracle ring. That would make sense. But yeah, it feels like they're holding out on us. And I want to say that the next, if there isn't a nuke on the next seasonal banner, we're looking at what? Probably going to be looking at New Year's. And typically they don't put nukes on New Year's. It's usually Beast. The last one we got was what, Kvaser? She wasn't that great, and then before that we had Astra, and well, I mean Astra was pretty meta, but Beasts don't really transition. Beasts and Dragons don't, or the OCs don't typically transition well into nukes. Well, also Baby Golvig, but not the greatest nuke. Like, just looking back at it, not the greatest. She had a role and she played that role very well, but she wasn't like a full-on, like Celica is just a nuke. She's not. I wouldn't compare Baby Golvig. I wouldn't really put Baby Golvig in that category. So I'm not like, especially looking back at the banner, that the OCs that we got for this year, I don't see them transitioning well into that nuke archetype.
I'll handle this.
Unless probably Hearthfelger. I could see her maybe being a nuke, a flying nuke of some sort. But the rest of them, I can't imagine how they would make that work. Any of them being a nuke, it just doesn't feel right. I think probably we'll get like another armored unit or another infantry unit or something that is bulk adjacent and not nuking. But if we don't get a good competent nuke on the next banner, it's chalked for this month. I don't know. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really, really tough. I want to say hopefully the color will be blue, but then also if that unit is able to take out Neathauger, let's say in one hit or in two combats, or no, in one combat, then that blue unit can more than likely solo the majority of the game. So it's an interesting position that IS has put themselves in. I feel like they did need to do that. They did need to, bring it this far. Yeah, they could have just made a seasonal unit or a legendary unit instead of a mythic. They really didn't need to do that. Yeah, and that would have been fine. A lot better, actually. So far from testing, what do we got? We got Crom, we got Bernadetta, we got Saline, Ninja, Bridal Micaiah, Base Micaiah if you have her well built. That's pretty much it that I want to say. I haven't found a ready. Valentine's Crom can't do it. Well, at least maybe if you have him well invested, maybe he can. But so far, I've not been able to get through. Petra is actually one of the better options, but an investment again needed. So there's that. And you can get Lucina to do it, but it's so inconsistent that I wouldn't even recommend it. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. GG's. Let's play another one. Alright, so yeah, where was I? Oh, well, here's Toki. This is another match here against Toki. This one is not a loss, but you can still watch it out just to see what happens. Toughest option or most challenging thing here is the fact that there's two duos. So for my duo button, I gotta figure out who to get rid of. And also Felix is in the back, kind of hidden away, and that's potentially a problem. But that was all, or it is all going to get sorted. You just have to sit back and watch how it's done. This was no more excuses. I was actually awake. All right, so yeah, man, I was just feeling. I'm currently feeling so defeated by this Neathhugger. I think I was saying that Crom is an option, and I'm referring to Legendary Crom because of the armor effective damage and the fact that I don't think there's a cap on the amount of buffs that he can get. So he can just stack his stats sky high and then, you know, keep it going that way, and is able to actually one-shot her with the right support. That being said, that's probably what one unit that can actually do that. Going back to Byleth, we had actually a couple of options to be able to take out dual Byleth when he was a thing. So I don't know, man. It just feels so backwards. You can probably try to get it done with Bridal Micaiah as well. You can try to get it off, but that one isn't a one-shot. You need both hits, and that's with Desperation support. And getting Desperation support is actually, I want to say, pretty tricky, well, for me specifically, because I'm running, what's his face? Fogado on defense. He doesn't pair well with Desperation because he wants to get hit so that he can do that reflect damage thing. So if you have Desperation, he's not going to perform to the maximum of the best of his capabilities. So I can't really run like Ursula on my defense in conjunction with him. So I'd have to drop Fogado and bring someone else in. But then you also need to be able to counter Fjorm. So, you know, what do you want to do on your defense? What exactly are you looking to do? The answer is ultimately Sigurd. Sigurd ticks all of the boxes because far saves. If you have Sigurd, he pretty much cancels that out in Astra Anima, so you don't actually have to worry about that problem. And then also in Light and Dark Season, you know, there's the new guy, and who's good, but I still think Embla is better just because of what, you know, she does. Still think Embla is better there in terms of usability, viability, whatever that word is. But you know, ultimately, Sigurd is the answer. I don't want to bless him for both seasons. It's kind of just, it feels boring. I need more options. Give me options. I need more options. In terms of like who you could partner him with, it really just comes down to the fact that you don't have enough actions to make it work. Sigurd is really good because of that extra action. It's more likely to drive your opponent to surrender. Whereas if you only have one unit going in, getting, let's say, one kill with two, like, let's say, because you're probably going to need a dance or something, because everyone isn't Sigurd, so everyone isn't going to be able to get that AoE off. So you're probably going to need a dance to get like a follow-up action to actually take out the unit that you're targeting. And that's pretty much it. You're done. There's nothing else that your team can do. And then you're left exposed to them sack playing you and, you know, just keep going.
Your orders?
Especially if we don't have a follow-up initiator or a follow-up nuke, it's very difficult to make it work. And then if the unit that you took out is not the far save, then let's say you have legendary male Shez. Even if he comes in and initiates, he's doing nothing because the far save Neathhugger and Fjorm both don't lose to him. So it's not the greatest where we are right now in terms of nukes, man. It's like, I want to say Bernadetta and Lucina. Throws Saline in there with Desperation, but then Desperation is easily countered by Hardy Bearing, so that's like what, 50% of the time you maybe not running, you'll maybe have the opportunity to have her Saline use that Desperation tech. Plus 1, 2, 3.
Your orders?
All of them blue. Who else? I don't want to say Micaiah is bad. It's not that she's bad, it's just that she's really geared towards taking out armors and calves. And the moment that currently those units I want to say armors are meta, but the strongest armors in the game currently all are running Shield Fighter,
Without
which
a
makes
doubt.
it a lot more difficult for her to one-shot anything. So she's automatically at a disadvantage there.
Message
And then
received.
the other one is red, so
What should I
another
do?
disadvantage. So Micaiah is
I'll
kind of a
handle
no. Even Brattle Micaiah also needs desperation to get it to work, because if either of them get hit, they don't have the bolt to survive unless you're running some type of special miracle tech where you get like multiple cooldowns. You could
received.
probably do it. Feels like too much work, but you can probably do it if you really, really wanted to. I don't want to do it that bad. Baby Robin has literally fallen off a cliff in terms of just being usable. I haven't used that unit on defense
Your
in
orders?
months. So, and they were all the rave at the time when they came out. So that just goes to show you, there you go there. And that's pretty much like, what, 3
What
units
should
at
I
most
do?
that are like really, really viable. All 3 of them blue because, and then only 2 of them actually cover a wide enough spread that you could actually, have a
Message
case to
received.
use them in all situations. And that's Bernie and Lucina. Because Crom does not win against Fjorm
I'll handle
because
this. Message received.
Shield Fighter. Shield Fighter exists. The thing is, even if Neathhogger has Shield Fighter, you could probably still,
What
because
should
if you
I
get the
do?
quad, Bernie and Lucina could probably still win if you run the Miracle build.
What now?
But those are like
I'll
2
handle
specific cases for 2 units. Not a lot of units can actually do that. So unless we're going to start getting more units with the ability to just special ramp into Miracle, or we get units that just do more damage, which is really what I want, do more damage, we're
Would you
just in a
escort
bad
us?
position, I feel like. I don't want to go like super toxic and like make a defense with just Sigurd and like Hearthfelger and just full melee.
orders?
I don't want to do that because that's not fun to play against. But that's really what the fact that at this point you're better off running a defensive team full of mythics
What should I
is
do?
kind of crazy. Like the mythic units that were like recently released are
Hand in
pretty much the
hand.
best units in the game, I want to say. All of them actually.
Would you
All of the
escort us?
Quieting Hands. Just thinking back at it, all of the Quieting Hands, Sigurd, Felix, Bernadetta. Those are like really the
Message
best
received.
units currently, just for like
I'll
combat.
handle this.
That you can probably, in terms of combat, damage output, everything that you're thinking about, those are like the go-tos that I would probably recommend. Dejected, defeated. I feel
What
so
should
down.
I do?
I really hope they know what they're doing because
Would
it
you escort
was
us?
kind of balanced. The game was kind of, I was saying this as well, that the game was kind of balanced before Shield Fighter, and now we're kind of like no longer there. We're heading into the opposite directions where nothing dies. That's where we're headed. And that's just because they
Would
didn't
you
release
escort us?
a good nuke or a good enough nuke on the Ninja banner.
I am
Ninja
watching.
banner. Whereas last year we got Tsunaki, this year we didn't get anything even close to that. And Tsunaki does nothing to this Neathhogger, which is absolutely crazy. Knowing how Tsunaki works, that's insane that she doesn't do anything. So yeah, man. They did a fantastic job building her as a unit. I think she'll age very well. To conclude, Lorather, not too high on him aside from, what he does. His gimmick is pretty cool. I think it'll last a really long time. But him himself, I think he'll make like a decent save if you give him the best armor skills or the most current armor skills, because Shield Fighter, Hardy Fighter, all of that will only be good for the current meta that you're in for so long. Eventually you'll get power preps, eventually everyone will have a brave weapon that can take you out in 4 hits. That's where we're headed at this stage in the game. So eventually all of this will just not be good. But for now, I think he's a pretty decent save as well if you want to consider using him for that in like Dark Season, but I don't want to do that. I think his gameplay style or his build is pretty good with just being imitation gatekeeper. I feel like he's good enough at that. But yeah, man, I just want some new nukes. Like currently, I'm just taking losses on defense because I can't be bothered. Or, it's not even that. There's just no point in me changing anything because I don't really have anything to change to. I could like go the triangle attack route and get like Cordelia back in there or even Catria, and try to win that way. But you also need desperation on top of that. I don't want to go back to the triangle attack meta right now. At least not mid-season. It takes a lot to get that to work because the movement is imperative. If one of your units is out of position, then the whole thing falls apart. So yes, that's whatever. And then for Dark Season, I didn't even change anything because there really is no new nukes. So I don't know, man. GG's. See you in the next one.